Have you ever had that feeling, that sudden, like, wave of emotion, anger, maybe anxiety, just pure stress that just completely takes over? Those moments where life just, hits you sideways and your feelings start spiraling and you're left wondering how to get back to feeling. Well, calm. If that sounds familiar, you are definitely in the right place today.
We're doing a deep dive into something really, really empowering, building habits for emotional regulation. Our mission here is pretty simple. Give you a genuine shortcut, some clear, actionable ways to navigate those chaotic moments with a bit more ease, a bit more inner calm. We've sifted through a whole stack of different sources, insights from health foundations, psychology experts, wellness institutes, to pull out the most practical stuff. The goal: help you build real emotional resilience, manage feelings better, and just stay grounded.
And it's fascinating, isn't it, how often people misunderstand what emotional regulation actually is? It's really not about becoming some kind of robot or, denying your feelings, or worse, just stuffing them down.
Right, that usually backfires anyway. Exactly. That's often the quickest way to feel worse long-term. Instead, emotional regulation. It's this ability to actually acknowledge your emotions, to see them, and then manage their intensity, so you can respond productively instead of just reacting on impulse. It's like the core of emotional intelligence.
That's a really key distinction. So it sounds less like controlling the emotion itself and more like directing its energy, being aware, and then choosing how you deal with it.
Precisely. You're not letting the emotion drive the bus, so to speak. You're aware and you choose the response.
So why is this skill so, crucial? Why is it so important to get a handle on this?
Well, when emotions get dysregulated, when they spiral, it doesn't just feel bad in the moment. Over time, it can really damage your mental health. It strains relationships, your most important ones, and just generally lowers your quality of life. Think about it, right? If every time you feel stressed, you lash out, or maybe when you're sad, you just completely shut down and withdraw.
Yeah, that builds up.
It builds up pain, suffering. A key idea here is downregulation. That just means intentionally lowering that intense emotional feeling. So, say you're feeling super stressed. A healthy reappraisal, like maybe stepping away to watch something funny, or even just reframing a tough meeting as a chance to learn something.
Changing how you see it.
Exactly. Changing how you think about it can genuinely dial down the intensity. That's different from unhealthy suppression, which is just bottling it up. That usually leads to an explosion later, or maybe you just feel numb inside.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit more, because this is where things get really interesting based on what we found. A core idea that kept coming up is this undeniable link between your physical health and your mental well-being. They're not separate things at all.
Absolutely not. Your body isn't just carrying your brain around, it's an active participant in your emotional life.
So small, consistent changes in daily physical habits can actually have a huge impact on emotional stability.
A profound and direct impact. If we connect this to the bigger picture, these aren't just nice ideas, they're like foundational pillars, almost like the operating system for your emotional resilience. First up, let's talk about sleep. This one's huge.
Okay.
We're talking about aiming for 7 to 9 hours consistently. And the consistency is key, going to bed and waking up around the same time every day.
Even on weekends.
Ideally, yeah, or close to it. This isn't just about feeling rested. It directly regulates your mood, it sharpens your focus, boosts your coping skills, and it actually lowers stress hormones like cortisol. Some sources even suggest trying to get to bed before 11 p.m. to help reduce those evening cortisol spikes.
Wow.
And think about REM sleep, that deep sleep phase. That's when your brain is actively processing the emotional stuff from the day. It's like emotional housekeeping.
Huh. I never thought of it like that, emotional housekeeping.
Yeah. Without enough REM, studies show your amygdala, the brain's threat detector, becomes much more reactive to negative things. You're literally more prone to get angry or anxious. Sleep isn't just rest, it's emotional recalibration.
That's a massive insight. It's not just about energy levels, it's about brain chemistry and emotional processing. So, sleep is number one. What else is part of this physical foundation?
Next up is daily movement and exercise. And the important thing here is it doesn't have to be super intense or take hours.
Right, not everyone wants to run a marathon.
Exactly. We're talking about anything that gets your body moving consistently. A brisk walk, some stretching or yoga, even just dancing around your kitchen. Physical activity releases serotonin and endorphins, basically nature's antidepressants.
Feel-good chemicals.
Totally. It lifts your mood and makes you better equipped to handle pressure, both mental and emotional. It's about consistently getting those neurochemicals flowing.
Okay, so sleep, movement, what else?
Then there's nourishing your body. There's this direct connection, this highway between your gut and your brain. People call it the gut-brain axis.
I've heard about that. It sounds kind of wild.
It is pretty amazing. Your gut microbiome actually produces neurotransmitters, things like serotonin and dopamine, that directly influence your mood and how well you think. So, fueling your body with nutrient-rich, whole, unprocessed foods. Think leafy greens, berries, fish with healthy fats, nuts, seeds.
The good stuff.
The good stuff. It's crucial for mental clarity, emotional stability, and just having good energy. What you eat literally feeds your mind and your emotional state.
It's not just about physical health then.
Not at all. And one more quick but really vital point. If you're taking prescribed medications for mental wellness, taking them consistently at the same time each day is absolutely essential for them to work properly and provide that stable support. Simple habit, but non-negotiable if it applies to you.
Okay, so we've laid down that physical groundwork. Sleep, movement, nutrition, consistent meds if needed. But emotions aren't just physical, right? There's the whole inner landscape. How do we tune into that?
Exactly. This brings us to mindfulness and self-awareness habits. Mindfulness and breathing exercises are incredibly powerful tools, almost like a superpower you already have.
How does that work practically?
Try simple mindful breathing. Deep, slow breaths. Focus on the sensation of the air coming in and going out. Maybe count. Inhale for 5, exhale for 5, just for, say, 5 minutes. This simple practice reduces stress, boosts self-awareness by pulling you into the present moment, and triggers relaxation by activating your parasympathetic nervous system.
The calm down system.
Precisely. It's like a quick reset button you can press anytime.
Okay. And beyond dedicated practice?
Self-reflection and just checking in with yourself daily. Think of it like taking your emotional temperature. How am I really feeling right now?
Without judgment.
Without judgment. Just notice. This helps you catch early signs of stress or feeling overwhelmed before they get huge. It lets you make small adjustments proactively.
That makes so much sense, catching things early. And I guess journaling fits in here too. It's like talking to yourself on paper.
Exactly. Journaling is like offloading that mental burden onto the page. Writing down thoughts and feelings gives you perspective, helps process things, gain clarity. It's a private space for self-discovery.
Okay. And you mentioned something, glimmers. What are those?
Ah, yes. Glimmers. We talk a lot about triggers, things that set us off, right? Glimmers are the opposite. They're these tiny micro moments that bring a little bit of peace or joy or hope.
Like what?
Could be anything. The warmth of the sun, cuddling a pet, the smell of coffee, really small things. These are subtle cues of safety for your nervous system. They help it shift back towards regulation, gently lifting your mood. Once you start looking for them, you realize they're everywhere. Tiny anchors of calm.
I love that idea. Finding the glimmers. Okay, so we've gone from the physical to the internal. But our emotional resilience isn't built in a vacuum, is it?
Yeah.
How do our relationships and our boundaries play into this?
That's absolutely right. It's not just an inside job. First, cultivating meaningful relationships. This isn't just a nice to have, it's fundamental. Making dedicated time for people who matter, family dinner, coffee with a friend, a real phone call.
Connection.
Yes. Social interactions provide vital emotional support, that sense of belonging, and they fight loneliness. Strong social bonds are consistently linked to lower anxiety and depression. It's about quality, feeling seen and heard.
And related to that, I imagine, is setting limits.
Crucially, you need to set boundaries. Clearly communicating your limits, both personally and professionally, is essential to avoid burnout.
Saying no sometimes?
Saying no sometimes. Emotional burnout often comes from saying yes when everything inside is screaming no. You can practice. Start small, say no to minor things just to build that muscle, get comfortable with it without feeling guilty.
And in today's world, those boundaries definitely need to extend to our screens, don't they? That feels like a huge drain for so many people.
Oh, absolutely. Limiting screen time is critical. Too much digital engagement brings risks, more anxiety, depression, lower self-esteem, that fear of missing out.
FOMO, yeah.
FOMO, cyberbullying, sleep problems, even addictive patterns because of those dopamine hits. Social media, especially, with its curated perfection, can really foster negative comparisons. Studies consistently link high social media use, particularly in young people, with worse mental health outcomes. So setting real boundaries like no phones at the table or a digital cutoff time before bed can make a huge difference.
Makes sense. What about smaller things, day to day?
Definitely incorporate simple pleasures. A quiet cup of tea, lighting a nice candle, having some music on. These small, joyful moments relax you, subtly boost your mood. They're a quick reset.
Little mood boosters.
Exactly. And also, remember to practice gratitude. Just taking a moment each day to notice things you're genuinely thankful for, a nice view, a good meal, a kind word, it really shifts your perspective towards contentment.
It sounds like weaving these small positive moments intentionally into your day. What about the bigger picture, like having a sense of purpose?
Yes, absolutely. Engaging in purposeful activities gives you a deeper sense of meaning. Volunteering for a cause, working on a passion project, something creative, having that why can be a really strong shield against depression and anxiety. It fuels motivation, builds resilience, reminds you there's more to life than just the daily stressors.
Okay, this is a fantastic toolkit for building that foundation, those daily habits. But what happens when difficult emotions do hit hard, even with these habits in place? Or, maybe more importantly, how do we recognize when it's more than just a bad day, when we might need professional help?
Right. This is where we move into more active in-the-moment strategies and also recognizing warning signs. Let's talk about constructive anger management.
Okay, anger's a tricky one.
It is, but you can channel it. One way is setting firm boundaries using your words. Instead of yelling, calmly say something like, I feel frustrated when X happens. I need Y to change. This is a boundary.
Directly stating it.
Directly, calmly, and repeat it if you need to, without escalating. Another approach is consciously shifting from anger to compassion. If you can't change a situation, or maybe the other person is acting out of their own pain, focus compassionate attention on those who might be hurt. Instead of attacking the source of your anger, maybe turn to someone affected and quietly ask, are you okay?
Shifting the focus.
Shifting the focus. And here's a really interesting one. Release angry energy using fantasy.
Using fantasy, how does that work?
Well, your brain doesn't really distinguish between imagined actions and real ones when it comes to emotional release. So you can safely imagine acting on those angry impulses, maybe picturing yourself shouting or even something physical, but only in your mind.
All right.
This allows that pent-up energy to release from your body without causing any actual harm. It helps you understand your anger without it leading to real-world aggression or turning inwards into anxiety or depression.
That's really counterintuitive, but makes a strange kind of sense. What if the anger feels deeper, though, like from old stuff?
That's a great point. If you suspect your anger is tied to old wounds, past trauma, and it's negatively impacting your life now, that's when seeking professional help, maybe from a trauma therapist, is really important for deeper healing.
Okay, so that fantasy release isn't suppressing, it's a controlled outlet, whereas suppression is just ignoring it.
Exactly. You're acknowledging the energy and giving it a safe path out rather than letting it fester or explode.
Got it. And what about conflict in general? How do resilient people handle disagreements?
Emotionally resilient people tend to stay calm in conflict. They try to patiently deal with communication issues rather than getting defensive immediately. They aim to discuss the conflict clearly and objectively, using I statements, showing self-awareness and empathy. And importantly, they handle negative feedback constructively.
How so?
They see it less as a personal attack and more as information, maybe an opportunity for growth. They've kind of learned to process criticism without letting it completely derail them.
That takes practice, I imagine.
Definitely. Another useful technique, this one from behavioral therapy, is the act opposite principle.
Act opposite.
Yeah, the idea is that your behavior influences your emotions. So if your usual reaction isn't helpful, like yelling when angry, or totally withdrawing when sad, consciously choose to do the opposite.
So if I want to yell,
Try talking quietly. If you want to isolate yourself, maybe just call one friend even for a few minutes. It feels unnatural at first, maybe forced.
yeah, I bet.
But the act of doing the different behavior can actually start to shift the underlying emotion. It helps rewire those unhelpful pathways over time.
Interesting, like fake it till you make it, but for emotions.
Kind of, but it's more about actively choosing a more constructive behavioral response.
Yeah.
And when strong emotions start bubbling up, another mental tool is check the facts.
Check the facts. Okay.
Ask yourself, what actually triggered this? What stories or assumptions am I layering on top of the facts? Does how intensely I feel really match the objective situation, or is it being amplified by my interpretation or past experiences?
Pulling back to reality.
Exactly. It introduces objectivity and can really dial down extreme reactions.
These are incredibly practical tools. But sometimes things feel like more than just needing a tool. What are those clearer signs that maybe professional help is needed?
Recognizing these signs is so important, and it's never a sign of weakness, just an indication that more support would be beneficial. Look for things like persistent sadness that lasts more than 2 weeks, a really heavy feeling, or consistently pulling away from friends, family, social stuff, a noticeable change.
Okay.
Big changes in sleep or appetite, eating or sleeping way more or way less than usual, trouble concentrating, maybe an increase in using substances to cope. Also, extreme mood swings, constant irritability or anger outbursts that feel out of character, deep feelings of hopelessness, or even unexplained physical issues like ongoing fatigue or headaches.
And the really critical one.
And absolutely, any thoughts of self-harm or suicide. These aren't just bad phases, they're clear signals that deeper issues need professional attention.
So if someone notices these signs in themselves or someone else, lasting for more than a couple of weeks, or really getting in the way of daily life.
That's definitely the time to seek professional help. Reaching out for therapy, counseling, maybe seeing a psychiatrist. It's a powerful act of self-respect, truly. It's strength, not weakness.
And the barriers, like cost or stigma.
They're real, but there are often ways around them. Look for low-cost community clinics, check out teletherapy options, find support groups. Help is often more accessible than people think. The most important thing is not to suffer alone.
So wrapping this all up, what does this mean for you, the listener? We've gone through a lot today. From those daily foundational habits, sleep, movement to mindfulness, boundaries, even strategies for tough moments like anger. It seems clear that building emotional regulation isn't like reaching a finish line. It's more of a continuous journey, right? Progress, not perfection. Equipping yourself with a better toolbox.
That's exactly it. And it raises that important question. What happens if you don't pay attention to your emotions or the signals your body sends? True wellness, that holistic health, really comes from caring for both your mind and your body. They're inseparable. Your physical state impacts your mental state and vice versa. It's through these small, intentional daily practices, getting enough sleep, moving your body, being mindful, setting boundaries, connecting with others, that you build that deep resilience. You gain clarity. You lay the groundwork for lifelong emotional well-being.
Imagine that. Imagine navigating life's ups and downs, the inevitable chaos, with a kind of quiet confidence, knowing you have the tools not just to react, but to respond thoughtfully, with calm. So the final thought for you today is this. Among all the habits and strategies we talked about, what's the one thing you'll commit to building, starting right now?